Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the next part or part 2 of ibarat practice. Now we have the rest of the ibara. Okay, al-hayatu mutaharrikatun wa mutatawwiratun. So remember, this is al-hayatu because it's the default state, and alif lam's there, so you only have a single vowel. Mutaharrikatun. Okay, mutaharrikatun. Okay, it's double because there's no alif lam or anything connected, and it's default state, nothing's changing it. Wa mutatawwiratun. We have waw here, waw al-ataf, and this waw al-ataf will means that the same is going to follow over there. So you have al-mutatawwiratun. Sorry. So al-hayatu mutaharrikatun wa mutatawwiratun. The life is changing, mutaharrikatun wa mutatawwiratun, and it's evolving. Next. Sadati wa ikhwani. Sadati wa ikhwani. Okay, over here, if you notice, we say sadati. And the reason we say sadati is a simple nahwi rule. Two things you have to understand. Over here, sadati, okay, first of all, there is a ya over here. So we have ya. Now this ya over here, actually let me just change the color of this. I don't think using this color is correct. Let me use purple for this. So this ya over here is like the mudaf ilay. Mudaf ilay to mutakallim. Like you say kitabi. So if you connect anything to yourself, the first person, then the letter before it will always be a kasra. So like if you say kitab, let's say my book, you add a ya at the end, so you have to say kitabi. It's always going to be the letter before the ya will always have a kasra on there. So sadati, okay, sada ti, my respected elders or honored people, sadati. The second thing you have to understand here, like I said, is the issue of the is nida. Now here, hidden is actually ya. Ya sadati, ya sadati. Oh, let's translate this. Oh, ya sadati wa ikhwani. And you can sometimes hide this in the Arabic language. So here it's hidden. So it's like we say in English, brothers or sisters. Instead of saying oh brothers or oh sisters, we remove the oh and we just say brothers, sisters. So sadati wa ikhwani. Ikhwani again is ikhwani there, kasra, and there's a ya over here, so that's why the noon has a kasra. So again, this is a waw ataf, and the ataf goes back to ya. So ya sadati wa ya ikhwani. Oh my honored ones and my brothers. Let's carry on. Min over here is harf jar, and so you know the rule, if harf jar appears, the next word after it, the last letter will have a kasra. So min al-haqayiqi. Min al-haqayiq. Now this is not man, this is min. How do you know it's not man? It's because of the translation. Man would not fit here. Man al-haqayiq wouldn't fit, wouldn't sound correct. So you say min. Min al-haqayiq. Okay, so you have min there. Min al-haqayiq. And this over here is the next word after it is sifa. Okay, it's the sifa of haqayiq. And remember the rule of the sifa has to follow the word that comes before it. So min al-haqayiqil awwaliyati. Right, because he has a kasra, it follows the kasra that came or appears in the mawsuf. Let's continue. Anna. Now this is anna. If you look at it, two possibilities. It could be an or it could be anna. An, it mostly comes before a fi'l mudari. So this hayat, this isn't a fi'l mudari, so this would be anna. So remember that. An only comes fi'l mudari, or mostly. And if it's not fi'l mudari, then it's anna. So anna al-hayata. Why is it anna al-hayata? Simple rule, because this anna, it affects this, right? The rule of anna, which is it gives the ism of anna, the noun of anna, it gives a fatha. Just remember that the anna, the word after it mostly, it gives a fatha, and because alif lam's here, you only get one. The next word, mutaharrikatun wa mutatawwiratun. These don't change, default state, they remain the same. The next word, da'ima. Okay, da'ima, let's do that. Da'ima tashababi. Da'ima tashababi. Why is that? Two things you have to understand. This, first of all of this is considered to be mudaf ilay. Alright, so you have mudaf ilay. And the rule for mudaf ilay is that the mudaf ilay will always have a kasra, shababi. The mudaf, on the other hand, that depends on the situation, on where it appears in the sentence. Now, this has a fatha. Okay, so this has a fatha over here. Why has it got a fatha? Because it's hal. Okay, state. So it's the state of this hayat. Da'imat al-shababi. Da'imat al-shababi, meaning that it's youth, it's eternal youth. Da'imat al-shabab. Hayat da'imat al-shabab. And remember the rule of hal, it's always has a fatha. That's the rule. Anyway, so da'imat al-shababi mustamirratan numuwi. Exactly the same thing. This will also have a fatha because it's another hal. Okay, mustamirran numuwi. And again, it's another mudaf ilay. So you got mustamirratan numuwi. The next word, tantaqilu. This is a verb. Now this is probably the first time we've come across a verb. So let's see how we're going to deal with this verb. This is a verb, and remember the rule for the verb is that the verbs, they depend on the letters in the beginning or the end to identify the doer of the verb. So tantaqilu, remember what we said before? We said that before, like in istafa, if the doer comes after the verb, we call it a file, and if the doer comes before, then we hide inside of it a dhamir. So here we have here inside of it. Okay, here, and that's represented by the ta here. Tantaqilu, this is mudari. So the hayat tantaqilu. Right, it's talking about the hayat. Tantaqilu. The next word we have is min. It's not man again, it's min. Tawrin ila tawrin. Tawrin, no alif lam, so it has double vowels. Ila, again, you have harf al-jar. Should have chosen that color there, just to keep it all conformed. And tawrin, min tawrin ila tawrin. And again, wa ataf. Now this ataf won't really have much of an effect on the sentence, because the word after it is min, and this is a harf jar, so this will have an effect on the word after it, and ila as well have an effect on the word after it, and so you get lawnin ila lawnin. Okay, min lawnin ila lawnin. Right, let's carry on. La ta'rifu al-wuqufa wa al-rukud. Again, this word is a fi'l. Okay, so the fi'l has here inside of it. It's talking about the life, hayat, and it's represented by the ta at the beginning because it's a mudari, remember, ta ta'nith. So la ta'rifu al-wuqufa. Okay, now this is a bit interesting because first time we've come across the maf'ul bihi, the subject, or sorry, the object. So ta'rifu is the verb, and the object of this verb, the doer of the verb, is al-wuquf. Okay, so you have al-wuquf here, and now what you need to understand is that the rule is, okay, let me just write it over here. So you have daraba, daraba Zaid Mahmud. Okay, the rule is that daraba is the verb. So if you want to say Zaid hit, Zaid gets dhamma and Mahmudan gets 2 fatha. And the simple reason for that is because Mahmud is the object and Zaid is the subject and daraba is the fi'l, and the verb. So the verb, the subject of the verb has 2 dhammas and the object has 2 fathas. So here al-wuqufa, it would be al-wuqufa. That's simply because it's the object of ta'arifu. Wala rukuda, wala rukuda wa ataf, and la, it doesn't have any effect really except in meaning, and so the word rukud is ataf on wuquf, so it means that it's also another object, and therefore if it's an object it gets a fatha. Anyway, let's carry on. وَلَا تُصَابُوا بِالْحَرَمِ وَالتَّعَطُّلِ. Okay, I think we'll stop there. Stop there, and inshallah the next clip we'll do the rest. So let's just sum up what we've learnt today. Let me just get rid of some of these. What we've learnt is that, first of all, number 1 is the issue with the ya. Okay, so if ya appears, if you're talking about yourself, ya, if you want to add something about yourself, my book, like you say my, then the letter before it has a kasra. Letter before has a kasra. That's like over here. The other issue is with regards to the anna. Okay, if anna appears, anna, then it gives a fatha to the word after it, or its noun, like over here. And hal, number 3, we have hal, okay, which is a state, and this gives a fatha, so always give a fatha. What else do we have? We have the verb, and the feminine is represented a ta in the beginning, like over here, tantaqilu, the ta. And finally the object, okay, it has a fatha. Okay, so that's basically what we've covered today. So let me just translate it. The life or life is moving and changing or evolving. My elders or honored ones and brothers from the first realities or truths, that life is moving and changing in a state of continuous youth or eternal youth, and in a state of continuous growth. It changes or moves, transfers from stage or state to state, and from color to color. It does not recognize stopping nor stagnancy.